lens is clean, everything is good.
Turned, cleaned everything.
Okay. Okay, let's go. Where you want me to start at? Right here?
Okay, wherever you want to start.
Huh?
Wherever you want to start.
Okay. Go for it. Boop. This is Richard back at you. We got an FIOD here that a customer that just found us. Didn't know we exist or anything like that till his engine builder told us about us, and he already bought another tranny. Made a mistake, but anyway, he put it in. It never shifted one time. I didn't see any problem with converter spacing or anything like that. He did a good job there. Fluid still looks red. We dropped the pan on it. Got a lot of tiny glitter flake in the pan a little bit, but this thing will not shift at all. So we don't know what they did to it or anything like that. So I just told him, hey, let's just start over. Let's pull it out. Let's take it apart. Let's see what we got brand new. That way we get a fresh start. When we put the tranny back in, we know where we're headed. So, Ms. Teresa, I want to thank you for being in the house today filming. Thank you very much. Now this tranny has literally no miles on it. Around the block a few times. Messing with the cable. We messed with the cable on the lift. We've done everything possible to try to get this thing to shift, and it just wasn't going to happen. So it's better for us just to start out fresh. That way we know where we're going. Now we have the governor here. Let me get a little bitty magnet, see if I can play with it a little bit, see if the governor's stuck. Governor's free. Teresa, is that your phone? Okay. But if you come here and look here, the governor is free. No issue there. Now we're going to go ahead and take it off. They did put it on. It fits on the shaft nice and tight. We're going to go ahead and take it off and make sure it's pointed the right direction, because this thing will go in two different directions. And if you put it on the wrong direction, you are in trouble. Now there'll be a check ball on this side right here sitting in the shaft. Make sure ain't nothing crazy going on. So the governor does fit really nice. Now here's the check ball here. Now when I turn the shaft over, there's going to be two holes. You see the two holes? When we pull this off, we want to make sure the holes are on the far side of this, on this side, not on this side. So let's pull it off. Let's turn it. So the holes are on the right side. So the governor was not put on backwards. Everything looks good there. Governor shakes like it's supposed to. Looks really good. Bless you, Teresa. Doing my tools. Thought I had everything setting out. I guess I didn't. Excuse me. Now these trannies here we'd never do on a carry out. This tranny here is just like a 700. It has a TV linkage that has to be adjusted. So that way it doesn't burn the tranny up. They say the pans don't look too bad. Got a little bit of gray going on, but not too bad. But these trannies here, they're very susceptible to very small pieces of trash, valve body sticking. If you got this bolt too tight right here, let me see how much it breaks off at. Let me see, where's my other torque? Right here's my other torque wrench. Yeah, now let's do the small one. Let's see here. Let's do a breakaway on it, see if what it's physically probably torqued at. About 60. So that's about close right there. So that wasn't over torqued, but let me tell you, if you over torque that right there, you won't have no fourth gear, because your fourth gear shift valve is right here. Filter does have the gasket on. They put the gasket on backwards, but they did put it on at least. If you notice here, the bolt holes in the gasket should be here. The gasket should have been flipped where it was lined up like this. See, so they did put the gasket on wrong. I can't tell. It could have been leaking there. Maybe sucked up a little trash. I don't know. But the gasket was put on backwards. Like I said, it's the small stuff that gets you when you do these trannies. Now, if you look here, they did put a bolt right here. It keeps the TV linkage from falling behind this valve right here, the TV valve. If this wasn't here and you didn't have your linkage on the outside and you tap the shaft, this linkage here is capable of getting behind here, and then now we have a problem. So that's why they did that. Keeps that valve from sliding in and getting behind it. Really cool idea. They did get the return spring back on. You can see it here. Kick it off right there. It goes back. That keeps the TV linkage all the way back. When you let off the gas, it goes all the way back every time you come to a stop. And there's actually another spring on the outside to make that happen too, and actually one up on the carburetor too. So they really want that thing to travel with gas pedal movement. You move the gas, it's got to react back every time. There can't be no delay, hanging, or anything on this linkage here. This tranny will not work. So. Now these will have usually two guide bolts right here. Normally the shank's a different size to keep the valve body lined up straight. Let's see if they put it somewhere else. I mean, it could be in these here, or they just didn't put them in. So they're actually not in there. But actually you have a different bolt here and a different bolt here. That keeps the valve body lined up to the case really good. So, but they do have different bolts here. Now, hopefully I can find something when I take this apart. Now, if you look here, guys, this upper gasket was just put on really terrible. If you notice here, it's the bolts cut through the gaskets. The gasket ain't even hanging, ain't even put. I mean, it's cross leaking through here. I mean, there's no telling what this gasket's leaking everywhere. It's so knocked down this way. Look here.
Mm-hmm.
See, so they didn't even get this gasket put on. We probably got cross leaks, all kinds of stuff going on here. So you see issues. Every time we take one apart, we find a lot of builder error. I mean, I don't know if it's just because of just getting in a hurry or what it is. I got all the time in the world to do this stuff, so I'm not in a big hurry at all. But like I said, this gasket here is I just want to save the gasket. We'll put new gaskets back on it, but I still want to try to save what I can save. That way I can look at it and see if they did any modifications to the gasket or anything like that that I need to pick up on. Now we're going to go ahead and pull the valve body apart really quick and kind of look at some stuff and see if anything's physically stuck on the inside, see if they left anything out loose, anything like that. I should have torque checked that bolt there. Let me just kind of check these and see if they kind of come off on. Give me an idea if they're over torqued. Nope, that felt good. That's twice as tight as that other one was. Isn't that crazy? See, the guy probably never used a torque wrench on it, because look at this. Look at that 90. Unbelievable. I'm scared I'm going to twist it off. Got the shakes going on. Look how tight that was. I mean, so he didn't ever use a torque wrench on this valve body neither. I mean, look at that. Look here, can you see that gauge here, guys? I'm gonna set this back to 0. And look at the, just me trying to take his bolt, that gauge goes to. That 90 inch-pounds. That one released about 30. Let's see with this one. Let's see. Look at that.
Wow.
That's how over tight this valve body was. I mean, this thing didn't stand a chance. This valve body is so critical to over torquing everything. Let's see what this one goes to. Same way, look at that. Almost 120 inch-pounds of torque on these bolts. Same way. And that one there only had like 30. Remember, just barely. It was closer to being in that one there. Look at that. So, there you go on that part. That's why I want to take it apart and just look at everything and see what we got going on here. If not, I'm going to fight it out in the car, and I'm just not going to do it. This guy thought he was putting on head bolts on my race car. What he thought he was putting together. I don't know what he was thinking when he put this valve body together here. And we'll look through here and see if this has been modified any. It looks like the holes have been drilled out here and stuff. I look at some other places that where it's been modified at to see. This gasket here was put on a little bit better, not much. It's really crooked down here on this end. You can see where it's been pushed off the end here.
Yep.
Hey, this gasket was put on terrible too. So I don't know who put this together, but believe me, it was a terrible job. So, let me get back over here one more time. Tracy, get me found my little pocket screwdriver. And we have these little blow-off valves right here. Little pop-it valves is what we call them. We got a long one and a short one. Actually, normally they're long and short. So they stacked 2 long ones here. Keeps them stable. Keeps it in the spring good. But they do have a long and a short though. And then we have our check balls. Now, no check ball goes here. You could actually put one there if you wanted to. But if you come over and look here, they are right here. Now, we are missing 2 here that normally would go there. So I don't know what they did there. If I'm not mistaken, 2 does go there. So I don't know what we got going on here. We'll dump these out real quick. Get them put up over here. Actually, look here. I told you there was one in here, guys. He just didn't get it in the hole. He didn't get it in the pocket. He dropped it down in here, and now it's wedged in there. See it there? Mm-hmm. So he missed that even. So just terrible building. I mean, that thing is... Look at that. So, and paid really good money. I mean, a very upset customer. So, let's get in here. We'll kind of move some of these valves around real quick. See if we see anything stuck already right off the bat. Like the pressure regulator valve right here does seem to be free. Your 4th gear shift valve is stuck solid. Look at this. This valve right here is your 4th gear shift valve. When I go to move it, it stayed right well. When I first moved it, it didn't want to move, and then when I moved it, it stuck at the very end. So see, it is starting to move. So, but these valves, like I said, this valve body is really critical on sticking. We would never do one of these on a carryout, ever. They just have issues right off the bat. You almost got to train them to shift once you get them back in the car. See, this valve here is stuck solid. It don't even move. See? Yeah. Totally stuck solid. See? And it's spring loaded. It's got a spring right there. See, it ought to just slide back real easy. See what this one does. That one there moves. Come in here, move this one. That one moves. Then there's one down in here. It moves. Then we have another one in here. It moves. And we have one here. And we have our TV valve here. Let's see if this moves back and forth. And it's moving good. Looks like they got an aftermarket one in there. It's got some cleaning grooves in it, stuff to keep this clean. But when you got everything else stuck, it don't matter. Now just think how bad, before I unbolted this valve body, how stuck all the valves were because of the over torquing. I mean, none of these valves moved, you know, and then I untorque it, take it apart, and then they still don't move, half of them. So just terrible, terrible. So at least we're getting somewhere. We know where we're headed and the issues and stuff like that. So a lot of it's very inexperienced. Whoever was putting this together, the cleanliness was not there. And we're going to have a billet 4th gear servo. Can you see this here, Teresa? It's out here. Now this is a great big old servo right here, guys. You can put a lot of pressure on the back side of this thing. Massive diameter. A lot of feed circuitry holes to get behind it and push it on. Really nice piece there. Look it over here into our reverse one. See if it's nice and soft and rubbery feeling. The hat feels really nice and soft. Go and see if the pin and the piston feels nice. Nice and soft there. So looking good there. Now here's your 3rd gear accumulator right here. We're going to pull this out and see what they've done here. Usually we'll block this a little bit, stiffen it up to give us a little bit better 3rd gear. I did put a bonded piston in it. Really nothing to stiffen it up or anything. We'd have stacked a spacer in here and stiff this up a little bit and shorten that stroke on that piston. It helped out quite a bit. And we have our accumulator here. Now they do come with, some of them will have springs in them, some of them won't. Some of them, when you take the pan off, this thing will be sticking, just laying down at the bottom of it like that, sticking out the bottom. They don't even have a spring, so but you can tell they did put a spring in there. So stiffen it up a little bit. Get down here and get to the best part. Well, some more of the best part. How's that sound? Go ahead and grab my slide hammer, please, Teresa. Can I get by you, ma'am?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. Just had to get over here and get my custom tool off from the last time that I...
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to get it off. Nope. I was hoping to break it off. That way I can... That's why we didn't weld it on there very much, but it ain't going to come off. So, let me see if I can get in here. Mercy, I'm going to have to get that off there really quick. Let me put this in the vise, guys. I'll be right back. Get this broke off here where I welded this on for my slide hammer in a video before. I haven't broke this piece off yet, so hopefully I can get it off. Maybe. You never know.
Cross my fingers.
Did you cross your fingers for me? All right. I've welded on the end of this more times than once. That's why it's got a bolt welded to the end of it now. Okay. Like I say, this thing doesn't have no time on it, and it's never worked. So we're gonna look at our intermediate piston right off the bat. This is our second gear. We want to look in here, make sure the O-rings are good, nothing cut, everything looks good. Wish I didn't have my gloves on, because we have a special tools to install these. You don't install them with a feeler gauge or anything like that metal, and they'll cut the lips off of them if you ain't careful. We have some hard tools, plastic tools that we put them in with. That doesn't look tore up or anything. Look at the pump. Make sure we got a good looking pump. Forward sealing rings, your reverse sealing rings. Stator looks pretty good. Could have been Scotch-Brite. It don't look like they ever Scotch-Brite. They just stuck it in.
Okay. Scotch-Brite is in.
It sure is, Miss Teresa. How long have we been using Scotch-Brite, Miss Teresa?
Longer than 25 years.
A long, long time. Now, when I checked converter spacing on this before I pulled it out, it was perfect. We didn't have to do anything like that. When we put it back in, everything's going to be fine. So, want to look here at our stator. Look here on both sides. We have a suction and a pressure side. Looks good there. Bushings look new. And a lot of wear on these rings for reverse. I mean, that's kind of iffy, you know, kind of make me iffy there. Look at this pump gear. Pump gear is new. Actually, I'd almost have to say pump gear is not new. If you come in and look, you can tell right here. Like I said, this thing, it's only been around the block. This gentleman paid killer money for this unit. And you can tell here that the wear on this pump gear where the converter runs, that is not around the block. That's a used pump gear. You can see here the wear where it's already got wear where the converter hooks to turn the gear. You can see it right there. So, look how much wear is on that part right there. So, it goes back to terrible deal. Got a new pump bushing there. You want to check here. Like I said, kind of like the same way on the stator, you want to check both sides. Same way with here. If you get a leak here, you got a filter and a pressure. So, looks good still. Bluing on the outer edges look good. So, we can put some new gears in it, physically new gears in it, and be fine there. Now we do have a nice overdrive band. Looks really nice there. And here we have our intermediate frictions. Look really nice. Now you can tell it has 0 runtime. Literally. 0 runtime on these plates. I mean, around the block. Like I say, it never shifted one time. Just got a standard sprag. Looks like they did some stuff here. Maybe a different type of washer it looks like to keep... These things are bad about this washer blowing off. If you ever have a flare-up in overdrive or anything like that, this drum overspins and it chunks this ring off right here. And then next thing you know, it's running around in there. So they did repair that. We're looking at a reverse clutch here. Now you're going to come in here, you see this big old purple spot on this backing plate right here. But let's get on the inside and see what it looks like, because just because you got a spot like that on the back don't mean the plate's bad. Because these plates will work on opposite sides. You know, you can flip it over. But you see, it's still there. You know, penetrate all the way through. Now, did it damage the clutch or anything like that? Don't look like it. But the way, you know, like I said, this train didn't stand a chance even before we put it in. It's just so dirty. Over torqued. Then we have a piston down here, a bevel plate. sometimes you gotta get drastic with them. Now these will come in cracked, stuff like that. You have to replace them. There's a metal ring that goes on top of the piston to give the plate something to set on, instead of it setting aluminum to aluminum or aluminum to steel. Teresa almost took off running when I plugged in that air blower, didn't you? I seen you flinch.
I'm backing away.
You want to check this check ball right here. Clean it up, make sure it rattles. You got your new seals here. Now to put these down in there, this is a square cut right through here. You have to have a tool. You'll never get, if you ever pull this out, you'll never get it back in with a feeler gauge or anything like that. You're going to cut this to the smithereens. We actually have special tools over in a box for this whole unit that we can put this thing together with. So. Brush washer. Here we got our forward clutch. Now we'll have a wave plate down in here too. These steels fit really tight in this drum.
Yeah, why is that?
It's really not good for them too, because it'll actually cause clutch dragging and stuff like that. These steels have to slide free in this drum. If they don't, it can cause issues with the tranny burning up. Come on out of there. My screwdriver's got a little hook on it, but then I got my finger behind it and I can't. Almost. Man. So we have our forward clutch here. You know, really as bad as this valve body's all stuck, I'm shocked this tranny ain't just totally wiped plumb out. Same here, the aluminum pistons, check your seals and stuff there. It takes a special tool to put this in there too. Let me go ahead and take it apart and show you real quick. Come over here, Tracy, you can see this kind of. The snap ring right there. Oops. This spring is pretty tough. There we go. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is another reason why, man, it's just when you find stuff like this.
Oh.
Look at this. I mean, when he put the piston in, he cut the seal. I'm shocked it moved. I swear I'm shocked this vehicle even moved forward. How they even drove it in or drove around the block. Because this is physically the forward clutch. You put it in drive, it takes off. Second gear clutch comes on. Your third gear clutch is still in the back of the tranny. You haven't pulled it out yet. So, but here you go again. Like I said, we have, hang on Tricia, just there, I'm going to go get these tools. Now these tools, you got to remember guys, I've been doing this so long, 40 something years, so when I bring out a box of tools, I mean these are dinosaurs. But this is what it takes to put these trannies together when you get back into this old stuff like this, because it's what that looks like. So I like to leave oil on them, they'll keep them lubed up. But you'll take this and put it in here like this. You have another one that sets in here. But it'll set in here like this, and then it's set down in there like that. And you'll take this. I have to feeler gauge this one, because I remember I broke that one. But you do that, and then that will slide right down in there, and that protects the seal. He probably didn't have these tools, or he got in a hurry, something like that. I'll show you. Even your reverse one right here it even takes one worse than this one. Let me get it clean. Well, let me get it cleaned up a little bit, and I'll show you what it looks like real quick. I don't like cleaning them up. I like to leave them dirty. That way they don't get hard. They stay in good shape. I'm going to show you what this looks like real quick. Now just to even put this one in right here, you take this tool, you set it down in here. You take this tool, you set it down in there. And then you'll set this down there with a lot of oil on it and stuff like that, and you'll take it slowly, put it down in there, you get it down there, and then you pull the two pieces out. Okay. So, dinosaur stuff, but stuff you gotta have to put this thing back together without cutting seals and stuff like that. So, I'm really glad I did a video on this training. I wasn't gonna do it because I'm just getting tired of taking trains apart that other people have done and just destroyed them, charged them big money and stuff. And then I'm never the bad guy. Don't ever have to worry about that part. But it's just like, come on. Come on, come on, come on. You know, I think Joey in his garage could have done better than this, you know, and this is a big company, so. You want to come here and look at these splines and make sure they don't strip. We see that a lot. Same way down here on these gears, you want to look on both sides, look for any pitting. Both sun gears look really good. They do make different sizes. They make a big and a little here, depending on what planet and stuff you have in this thing. This thing's got a massive planet in it, so. It's got an anti-clunk spring right in here. You can see it wedged down in here like a 4L60E. When I tap it out, it's going to shoot out of there probably. Run, Teresa.
Which way it's going to come so I can...
So you can run?
Yeah.
Okay. It hit me in the belly. I knew it was coming out because it does every time. But you can see what it looks like. This is an anti-clunk spring for an FIOD. So FIOD, AOD, then they made your AOD, 407W, stuff like that. They just went on from there. So outer race looks good. I can't say that bushing was probably replaced, but we'll go from there. Get our sprag assembly out of here. Now you can't put this in backwards. Just remember, your spring always pushes the roller uphill. So when you set it in there, the spring pushes the roller uphill. If you do that every time, it's in right every time. So, and then here, you notice here, in one of my last videos we tore down a tranny, they had the bushing flush. And you can't do that because of, I will show you right here. There's a bearing down in here that has a chamfer on it that you have to physically put the bushing down in there far enough where that chamfer right there does not touch it. That chamfer right there, right there. If you put it flush and you put this train together, it's going to grind every bit of that metal off right there. It's going to wipe that bushing out. It's going to wipe that bearing out. It's going to wipe this third gear drum assembly out. Because that metal's got to go somewhere. So what it attacks this shaft here. All this is a two-stage shaft, one here and one here. Smaller bushing for this, the bigger bushing for this, and the sun gear bushing goes on here too. just like that. So I replace every one of these drums right here. Every one we replace. I haven't seen one yet that hasn't come in that's no good. And that, by looking at this one here, I can tell you it's no good. So here we are again. We got a nice reverse band. I can't tell you it's new. It's a heavy duty band, but for around the block, that don't look new to me. So we're gonna get in here. We're going to take our output shaft off. And you can see our governor rings and stuff like that here. Our third gear ply hole ring. So we have our governors, our third gear ply. I can find my air blower and then we'll just make it work real quick. This one won't get you, Teresa. Let me just make sure where I'm headed. Okay.
Where am I going to be?
Now if you look here, you got your governor feed circuit here. You remember the output shaft and the governor that had on the back of it? What'd I do with it?
What? Governor?
Yeah, it's probably right in front of my eyes.
Probably down.
In the pan, yeah. But you remember when if you was watching the video at the first. But these are to the governor, and this here's to your third gear. If you come in here and look at this clutch right here. There you go. So that's your third gear right there. Turn the solvent tank off so we can get rid of that noise. See if I can get this off really quick. Now the 470W is the later version. You can pull this third gear drum out the top here. The AOD, AODE style, it has to come out the back. So, and then you have a spacer right here that sets down in here, like that. And then you have this bearing that sets on there. Then your planet set or your hub sets in here. Then you got your planet sets in here, splines in and stuff like that, so on and so on. Now this is the third gear clutch right here. Get this out and see what it looks like. Looks like it had a little play, but I can't tell if it's burned up. Looks really nice. 1, 2, 3, 5 clutch. Wow. We got to try to do, we're going to work on getting more clutches than 5 in this unit, in the back here, because this car makes 600 horsepower that this training goes behind. 600 horsepower, God's 4-barrel Cleveland motor, and the guy, when he built this car, he didn't mess around. I mean, he bought every part from bumper to bumper. I mean, beautiful car. So we're going to change this drum out anyway. If you look here, it already has a lot of grooving and stuff from other wear. You can see here where the splines are beat all the way down to the bottom. Now, this is a real critical area right here, guys. I want to show you something that will get you every time if you ain't careful. Okay. This drum sets on here just like this. This shaft comes all the way from the torque converter and goes all the way through the tranny and splines in here just like this. And when it sets down in here, when this drum starts wearing right here, this shaft starts sinking down this way, just like that. And as it sinks, look what it does. It gets close to this lube hole right here. And what it does, as it gets closer and closer, actually it sets about right here like this. As that drum wears right there, next thing you know, you just cut off lube circuit from that drum right there wearing. When we get it, even with a new drum, we will cut almost 1/8 of an inch, if not more, off this shaft. That way, that can never touch this hole again. Because believe me, you cut that hole off right there, you burn up every planetary gear in this tranny in the back. And this planetary right here, right now, is probably $300. So you got to be really careful. Well, you know where I'm going with this one. Terrible, terrible build. Nasty builder. Didn't have the right tools. Didn't take his time. I mean, everything about this was a bad job. So we're going to get it back together, get it back in this beautiful car for this gentleman and get him going. We want to thank Milwaukee for the great tools again that we use here at the shop. We're using them daily. They work wonderful. I'm soaking this thing in oil, and this is my joy right here. So we really want to appreciate you guys. Teresa, thank you for the camera. You did an awesome job today. Don't forget to subscribe. Push that like button, share, all them type things, and stay tuned for the next show, guys. We got a ton of stuff coming. Y'all have a great day.